Hi there, this is David and welcome to my top 10 most rare and valuable SNES games. I loved the SNES growing up. The quantum leap between the NES and SNES just cannot be overstated. It went from kind of some clunky games to some really good ones on the SNES, and I am still a fan of the system to this day. So here we're going to get a look into my personal collection and my personal top 10 most rare and valuable games right here. One thing that I do want to note is I did kind of go through a hard time about 20 years ago after I came out and I was in college and I didn't have a lot of money and I was kind of cut off. So I did have to sell quite a bit of my games and I no longer have anything complete in box. Don't have any game boxes, don't have any game manuals. I only have some games, and a lot of these aren't my original games either. They are games that I have had to go back and repurchase over the years. So let's go ahead and have a look back into what I currently have for the SNES. Well, first up at number 10, we have the 7th Saga. This one is worth $29 loose, $74 if you have it complete in box. This looks to actually be one of the very few original games that I still have. This was also an incredibly hard game, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. I've said this before, but I've actually beaten the 7th Saga with all 7 heroes. This is a notoriously difficult game, but I like it. And I've actually created a video, and it's on my Patreon, right? It's been on my Patreon for like a month now, but it's ranking the characters of the 7th Saga in order of their effectiveness, because believe me, some are better than others. So yeah, I love this game. It gets a bad rap, but hey, it was one of my childhood favorites by Enix. At number 9, we have The Legend of Zelda: The Link to the Past. This one is worth $31 loose, $135 if you have a complete in box. This also looks to be one of my actually original cartridges, because it's not screwy. You'll see some screwiness with some of the other cartridges that I had to rebuy. I took great care of my games growing up. They were like treasures to me. So I made sure that all their stickers were really nice, that there was no kind of gunk on it, that everything looked really good. So this looks to be my original game right here. I remember whenever we first got the SNES, we were at my grandparents' house and they surprised Daniel and I with it, and we got Super Mario World. And shortly thereafter, we got this game as well because my parents liked Zelda. It was one of the few games that they actually ever played. They probably haven't touched a console in like 40 years since, but hey, there was a time whenever they played Zelda. Next up at number 8, we have The Secret of Evermore. Loose for $40, complete in box for $122. This was not my original growing up, because on the back it says Rhino Video Games. This was a retro games, or I guess just a game store, in Kennesaw, Georgia, close to where I grew up, and I was able to get some games there later on after I had graduated college. Whenever I first got The Secret of Evermore, I thought that it was essentially a sequel to Secret of Mana. I mean, the games do sound the same, but it wasn't until I read an article in Nintendo Power that they basically said that it has absolutely nothing to do with Secret of Mana, but it does kind of copy the same engine. And copying a game's engine was something that games back then really didn't do all that much, so it was just kind of very confusing to me to see a game use so many things from Secret of Mana but still not be related to it. It was actually created by an American development team, and it has a really nice localization because of that, and it is actually one of my favorite action RPGs, and I do thoroughly enjoy this game. At number 7, we have Final Fantasy II Loose, worth $52, complete in box, $211. This, of course, is not my original game. I had to sell it along with Final Fantasy III as well, because you can tell because it has gunk on it. It says 27 right here. I don't know why it does. Must have been some used copy that I picked up at some like clearance bin or something at some time. But, you know, trying to get my old games back that I had to sell because of a hard time. It's just something that I've been trying to do, still on a quest to do, still trying to get some of these older games back. Even though, I mean, I know that I can play this game in emulation and everything, so it's not that big of a deal. But it's just having those games physically, it just means something to me. I really do like it. At number 6, we have Kirby Superstar. Woohoo! I know, it's a shock. I have games that aren't just RPGs. I play other genres, or at least I used to, back in the NES and SNES days. Kirby was one of my favorite games. I loved Kirby's Adventure on the NES, Kirby's Dream Land on the Game Boy, its sequel as well, and then Kirby Superstar is just fantastic. Unfortunately, it's yet another one that I had to sell and had to rebuy. Apparently, I bought this one used for $19.99, so it's not one of my originals. It looks like it was taken care of quite nicely. There is a little scratch right there on the sticker, but it's not that big of a deal. This is a fantastic game, one of the best Kirby games ever created. It's 8 games in one, highly recommended. For number 5, we have Robotrek by Enix. This, again, is not my original. I had to sell it. It is what it is. Loose. This is worth $78. Complete in box, $175. Looks like I was able to pick this one up pre-owned after selling it for only $14.99, again, from Rhino Video Games. Right there on the back, the little price tag is right there as well. This is a unique game by Enix. I am a huge Enix fan. They were the ones who created Dragon Warrior back in the day, my favorite series. So even though they did shut down their American development offices, I was so looking forward to anything by Enix. The 7th Saga, Robotrek, Illusion of Gaia, Soul Blazer, all those great Enix games. So I had to get all of them, no matter how strange they were. At number 4, we're really starting to see some price increases with Super Mario RPG. Loose, worth $82, complete in box, $254 according to PriceCharting.com. This game was a dream come true for me as a child. I loved the Mario games. Mario 1, 2, 3, Super Mario World, Yoshi's Island. There was even an arcade game just called Mario Brothers that me and my brother used to play together and like fight against each other. Mario was in everything. In golf, he was the referee. In tennis, he was in everything. So to actually get a chance to play a Mario RPG, I was all about it. This was a dream come true. I loved this game. It looks to me, though, that this is not my original copy. There aren't any stickers on it, though, but I can tell that the sticker up here, the edge, is kind of worn, telling me that this is not my original copy, because I would have not done that to my game. My game would have been in mint condition. Worry not. So even though Bowser is a god-awful, terrible character and I hate him, still a great game. For number 3, we have Chrono Trigger, worth $201 loose, $665 if you have it complete in box. I, of course, had to sell mine, so this is not my original copy. It's RR's, whoever that is. I must have picked this up in some clearance bin back when, and it looks like that has like some gunky stuff on it right there, but you know, whenever you try to recollect your collection, you just gotta take what you can get, unfortunately. So I wish that I was able to have some of these rarer games complete in box. I wish that I was able to go back through the instruction manuals and look at the strategy guides and stuff like that that I used to have for all these games, but I don't, and it's painful, and it's horrible, and it sucks, but hey, at least I have the physical copy of Chrono Trigger. At number 2, we have a veritable shock for me, EVO Search for Eden. I was floored whenever I realized that this game is worth $235 loose, or 588 complete in box. I loved EVO Search for Eden as a kid, although it is kind of hard and has wonky controls. But again, I had to sell it. And this is not my original copy. You can tell because it has all this like sticky sticker stuff on it and something going on back here as well. So yeah, kind of a junky copy that I have here, but I was able to get back one of my childhood favorites here in EVO. If you haven't played this game, it's a gem. It's an action RPG taking place way back during like the primordial seas and then going into Pangea and Continental Drift and everything, and you're kind of evolving along the way the entire time. You start off as like a little fish and you can evolve up, you can become a bird, you can become a mermaid, a human, whatever. You know, the sky's the limit with EVO. This is a fantastic game. And what's number one, you ask? Well, EarthBound. This one is worth $359, loose $1,542 if you have it complete in box. I remember when this game first came out, and it came in a huge box because you had the game and it also came with a strategy guide as well, all of which I do not have anymore. I had to sell. This is not my original copy. It says used right there, so I had to go back and rebuy EarthBound. It kind of sucks. I wish that I didn't have to do that, but again, life happens. You gotta do what you gotta do in order to survive and get by. EarthBound was a gem. I remember as a kid, I saw the ads for it, Nintendo Power, and I was like, seriously, this? Yeah, it's an RPG, but it looks so weird. And my brother was like, I love that it looks weird. So he asked for it for Christmas, and we got it. So, yeah. Fantastic game. I'm glad that I have it. I wish that I had the complete copy, though, that I used to have as a kid. So, that's it for the SNES games in my collection that I still have. There's still a lot out there that I wish that I could get my hands on, but it's a long, slow, arduous process to find the good ones. Certain games that I knew that I had as a kid that I wish that I had now, like Lufia 2, Secret of the Stars, Final Fantasy 3, Soul Blazer. There's just so many to list, and this is gonna be a running theme whenever we get into NES and Game Boy and these older consoles, because I had to sell and get rid of so many things roughly 20 something years ago, and I'm slowly been building up my collection ever since. So, what are your most rare and valuable SNES games? Please let me know. Follow the links to the Discord where you can chat and hang out. You can watch me stream on Twitch, do all that other kind of cool stuff, and have a good day.